Stepping away from the problem of bedikas chametz, from looking for the chametz the night before, the day before Pesach, let's try to understand once again where the chametz is located. Now, Chachamim have taught us that there are three major categories of chametz that exist in the world. The first is called be'en. Let's talk about chametz be'en. You have the popular grains like wheat and barley, etc., that can turn into leaven, or they can be leavened, and you use that to make foods: bread, cookies, cake, pasta, etc. So chametz be'en, real honest to goodness chametz, is also ba'achila. If you eat a kazayit, an olive's worth of chametz b'mezid purposely, then you would be chayav kores if you did it purposely b'mezid, and you'd be chayav chatos if you did it by accident. So that the eating of real chametz on Pesach is a very stringent prohibition. In order to prevent that iser, you've got to get rid of the chametz be'en. The chametz be'en that has to be rid of is, as I said, cookies and cake and bread and pasta, some of which is easy enough to get rid of because if you buy judiciously before Pesach, most of it is used up or eaten by Pesach. But there comes the problem of whiskey, for example. Bottles of whiskey today are very, very expensive. People don't want to get rid of them. What should we do? So we know that we have an option of mechiras chametz. But mechiras chametz, you have to always remember, only takes care, the selling of the chametz takes care of ownership, but doesn't take care of eating. I mean, just because you don't own the chametz doesn't mean that you could eat it. Of course you can't eat it, as we said earlier. So what do you do in order to prevent the chametz from being eaten on Pesach purposefully by some and accidentally by others? And the answer is that you have to put it in a way. You have to put it in a place which is either inaccessible or not easily accessible, or a place where you would be constantly reminded that eating the chametz is problematic. Furthermore, it's important to know that for many poskim, mechiras chametz itself is a complex and difficult enterprise legally, halachically. It's not so easy to sell chametz to a goy, especially when the goy doesn't have the chametz. You kind of keep it in your possession. And secondly, he's paying for something that he probably doesn't really want. And thirdly, he's not really paying for it because he only gives a down payment, a deposit, in order to buy the chametz that has been collected. This chametz is found in all kinds of different places. Everybody keeps the chametz in their own house. So that for some people, the more you can avoid mechiras chametz, the better off you are. So on that basis, it might be a good idea to say, chametz be'en, I'm going to try to get rid of. Let's try to get rid of the bread and the cookies and the cake and the pasta, all the things which we know are real, honest to goodness, unmitigated chametz, for which we would be chayav kores if we ate it purposefully on Pesach, and a chatos if we ate it accidentally on Pesach. So let's try to get rid of that chametz. As far as the whiskey is concerned, it's hard to know what to do. We have to, if there's a lot of money involved, surely we have to depend on mechiras chametz, and there it's important to go to a rabbinic authority who is competent to write the shtar, the contract, which indicates that the chametz has in fact been sold to a goy. But after you do that, You have to make sure that access to the whiskey, which is still in your house someplace, is not given easily to either to the members of the household, to the visitors of the household. We don't want anybody drinking a little whiskey by accident or imagining that what's in the bottle is somehow Pesach approved and drinking it accidentally. So that's Chametz be'en. Real, honest to goodness, unadulterated Chametz has to be gotten rid of, and either you get rid of it physically before Pesach, or you sell it through a competent rabbinic authority to a non-Jew. And if you do the latter, if you sell it to a non-Jew, you have to make sure that the chametz itself remains inaccessible, or there are warning signs that would indicate to anybody who comes close to this chametz, the whiskey, for example, that he should be careful, beware chametz on Pesach.